and welcome everybody. I am here with my dear friend and colleague, Mr. Kenji Kumara. Hi Kenji, thank you so much for joining me today. I interviewed you back in the fall of 2018 for an online summit that I did called Ascending into Truth. And we were talking last week a little bit about what we both have going on and thought it would be awesome to do a little joint video to just talk about what we all can do to help anchor in more light, more love, help the 5D really anchor in more and see the, what's falling away, fall away with grace and love and ease. And I'm just super excited to talk to you today. Thank you so much for taking the time and to share with our audiences.
Looking forward to it because the time is now.
Yes, yes. So I think to get started, first of all, how have things been the same and also different in the last few months of, this global cocooning for you?
Yes, global cocooning. Well, I miss going on hikes. I miss the Astral Friday drumming circles. I miss walking around downtown, all that wonderful stuff that I used to do on the weekends. But my practice is thriving. I'm doing planetary events to help everyone to move through these changes. And then we have the Thunder Gods right now. Can you hear them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it when they come. They're validation. So I've been having a really good time. I just kind of bored being cooped up. But since Astral is opening up now, and it's raining a lot here, so every time I want to go to a hike, it rains. So soon.
Good.
So it's all good, and I'm starting to bring through some, I guess, other levels of information, which is good because we want to grow during this time and evolve and keep moving forward.
Absolutely. And, there's a lot of discord happening, millions of opinions and nobody seemed to agree, even in, our communities, the light worker communities, a lot of banter back and forth about what's going on. I, have seen posts that, Archangel Metatron has turned and the Galactic Federation has turned, and, there's just a lot of information and disinformation, and I'd love to hear your take on what we can all do to help, hear each other out without judgment, because the judgment is what I'm seeing is causing a lot of entangling happening.
Yes, entanglement, yes. Well, I believe that the challenge for everyone, 8 billion souls basically on the planet, is to find out what their truth is in this global situation. What's true for them, not what other people are telling us what to do and how to do it. Both sides. It's like, what is true for us? So we have to develop our power of discernment. So that means if your third eye is not clear, you'll have confusion as to what is true. Plus, as we know, there's a lot of overwhelm mentally. Our mental bodies are like so full of information.
Yeah.
Fake news, the whole thing.
So
we have to remember to clear our mental bodies daily so we don't get overwhelmed. And then we'll be free of that stress.
Yeah. I heard a quote the other day, I might butcher it a little bit, but something about the only thing we take in as much of as oxygen is content. And with us, absorbing all this content constantly and looking for the truth and feeling for our truth, and I think it's easy to get overloaded.
What was that last part there?
It's easy, or now more than ever, to be overloaded and to get in that mental overwhelm space. So how are you helping people to kind of off the mental body overload?
Well, we talk about it and we bring it into the meditation.
Awesome.
Actually, it's quite simple. Everything doesn't have to be complicated. Actually, everything is quite simple. And if we just do our daily homework, we'll have a nice time through all this. Now, here's the other thing. There's a lot of information on when this is going to end. Personally, I have no idea when this is going to end. And as far as like the heaven on earth paradigm being established, and the cures, the healing cures that have been suppressed will be made manifest, and the technology to clean up the earth, when that's going to manifest, I have no idea. Some people have said it's going to take another 15 years.
Yeah.
A lot of us aren't going to wait that long. We're going to speed up the process as best we can.
Yeah. And I've heard, as soon as 2024, that's kind of the soonest date that I've heard. And then I've heard it could take generations, depending on how long it takes for 3D to fall away. Now, are you seeing it from your perspective as both 3 and 5D are existing simultaneously right now? That's kind of how I've been seeing it, but I'd love to hear your take on how you're seeing 3D and 5D kind of interplaying at this point.
Well, I think we basically have two choices. We can stay on this earth as we know it and help it evolve into higher dimensions, or we can begin to move literally into an alternative new earth reality, which I have been told is being created, actually in form, a new earth out there in our galaxy that we can migrate to at some point when everything is all set up nature-wise.
Why?
I prefer that reality because this one is still very slow, even with the cleansing part, the purification part of the planet, and given people's resistance, those that are in power, the resistance to making the change. Yeah, it might take a generation, it might take 2 generations, it might take a few years, it might take a decade. We don't know because we all have free will, and we could wake up one morning and boom, totally different. And there's another thing about like the days of darkness and all that. It may or may not come to pass, but we tell people just be prepared for anything. Be prepared energetically, emotionally, psychologically. Be prepared for what's going to come down. And you don't have to be the effect of it.
No, you don't.
That's the key, yeah.
Well, when this whole thing started a few months ago, and I tuned in and asked, okay, what do people need to know the most? The image that they gave me was, or my team, gave me was this, being at a train station. And are we going to get on the love train, or are we get on the fear train? And, making the conscious decision to stay in trust, stay in love. And it's, we're human, we're going to feel fear, but not to let the fear be the dominating force for the actions, making choices based in trust, based in love versus making fear-based choices. And with the amount of collective fear, it's very easy for people to make fear-based choices without even knowing that they're making a fear-based choice. And it could be, programming, indoctrination, there's a whole host of things that could be causing, these kind of unknowingly fear-based decisions. So, and then at the same time, I also heard that Earth has ended her contract officially to carry the fallen. So this contract of, I'll take on the burdens and what the universe, what can't ascend with the rest of the universe, I'll go ahead and hold this energy for them to work it out. And finally, this contract is ended. Hey, I don't need to carry this anymore. Since that time in around February. From February until now, I have personally seen almost 1 billion energies leave the planet in session work. So the more of us that are gathered together helping these energies go either to the light or just leave planet, the better. But how do you, communicate that in a way where somebody listening who, wouldn't just say, what is she talking about?
Yeah, what is she talking about? What is this guy talking about? Well, it's that old analogy, you can lead a horse to water.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all we can do at this point. We can say, okay, here is a possibility, and then you choose. Granted, there are no accidents, so people are making departure per agreement, even though the other side thinks, oh, terrible thing, right? All these people are dying in hospitals and whatnot. But it's by agreement. And those that go, okay, enough already. I'm out of here, right? Beat me up, Scotty. Okay, here we go. But the main thing in making departure and or making the migration to New Earth is that we do it consciously, right? Because part of the New Earth thing is now, it's like now no more going unconscious, no more veil, no more forgetfulness. Stay conscious, stay present. So people are waking up also and maybe having these symptoms that they go, this is really weird, man. I went to my doc and like, they have no clue. So we call them ascension symptoms, or we can call them shift symptoms, post whatever kinds of effects. So those people will need a little bit of guidance, I feel, to let them know that they're not going crazy. This is part of letting go of the old density and moving into higher realms. We all came here, well, not all of us, but our community, we came here obviously to see that heaven on earth paradigm. But I believe we didn't think it would take this long.
Sure. And, I think a lot of us feel like we can embody this higher vibration that's here right now, this, beautiful oneness 5D experience. And then, we go back into 3D. We get triggered, we get scared. There's uncertainty, confusion, anger, even at, the systems that are corrupt and hopefully falling away. What advice do you have for being able to pivot back into the high vibration that's here when, we stumble a little bit and go into the lower energies again? Because we're doing this kind of back and forth dance. A lot of us are. I know I am.
Here's part of the reason for the training for some of us, 5 decades of training for this moment to hold the space for other people. Those so-called light workers that want to do healing that are sitting on the fence, you just got to start practicing and do it. Because the 90% of the population that are hopefully waking up are going to need some support. They're going to need us. We've prepared for this. So we need to be open to helping those that are still a bit sleepwalking or that are in some kind of state of trauma, like, what the heck's going on in my head? What's going on in my body? And nobody can figure it out. And I can't heal this thing, whatever it is. So those people are going to need some support. So we've been trained to help these people. We need to be open to helping those that don't believe in what we do, have maybe never heard of chakras or the third eye or ascension or any of that stuff. And we're going to have to talk to them in their language so they don't get scared.
Absolutely.
So, that takes a skill, but we each have an innate skill to be able to do that. We just have to tune in to their language and speak in their words, but hold a different frequency than what they're used to.
And then when we're feeling the feels, I've gotten more support over the last couple weeks, just out of like, you know what, I need a little extra support right now, where for quite a few months I wasn't, didn't feel called to needing to receive. And I think that the more of us that are supporting one another, when we feel some achy stuff come up, whether it be shadow stuff, whether it be attack type of, there has been more, even in my practice, people saying, hey, I feel like I'm under attack here. What are ways that people can support themselves in raising their vibration when they do feel like, hey, normally I can stay high vibe, and right now I just can't. I'm just stuck in the soup.
Get on the phone and call somebody, right?
Yeah.
That's part of it also, reaching out, moving beyond your pride or, I'm not supposed to do this. Call somebody, ask for help. We're not very good at asking. Yeah, we can ask the archangels, but it's a little bit different asking another person. But we all know people that do fabulous work. We just need to reach out. Like in my knee injury that I had recently, I do the common sense things and go to acupuncture, massage therapy, and chiropractics. So we need to do common sense stuff, plus the spiritual level stuff, just the common sense stuff. But here's the other thing. We're being challenged to heal all of our core issues. We've been talking about this for decades. But during this shift, it's really evident that people's core fears are here. Mm-hmm. And they may not be aware of it. It could be a fear of, okay, if I catch the virus, I'm going to die. Oh, I just got laid off and I'm going to run out of money in 2 months. What am I going to do? There's no jobs available. Oh, my marriage all of a sudden has hit rock bottom. I don't want to be in this marriage, but yet I'm stuck in it. So these are just little examples of like, all right, so your core stuff up. You need to look at it. You need to embrace it. You need to feel it. And then be willing to, how shall we say, allow it to heal up so we can move on. I think the fear is not so much what's going on, but it's the fear of like moving in the direction of resolution. So a lot of people in a way are sitting on the fence, right? Mm-hmm. Which way am I going here? It's like the fool in the tarot deck, symbolically, right? Always walking the edge, always walking the edge. We are walking the edge.
And, what more can we do? Has been a question that has come up a lot. Like, what more can we do to anchor the light, anchor the love? And, there's so much talk about 5G and chemtrails and, nanotechnology, vaccines, tracing, all of these things. And people are angry. They're on both sides, of these debates, and want to do something about it. So it's this, how do we act in compassion, faith, trust, love, and for the greater good?
Well, here's the thing also. If you believe you're going to be affected by 5G, chemtrails, DARPA projects, black budget projects, smart meters, Wi-Fi, smart televisions and refrigerators, nanotechnology, mass hypnosis, all of that stuff. If you believe that you can be affected by it, then you will. But here's the good news. All of this level of stuff is being dismantled. And so it's not going to affect us. So we now need to believe and know in our hearts that chemtrails can't affect me, period. My immune system is so strong, I'm never going to get sick again. See, we have to hold this state inside our bodies that we are powerful enough to not be affected by any of this fake stuff, basically. But until then, we might get affected. So just know, chemtrails wise, you are seeing less of that stuff in the atmosphere, right? That's a good sign.
Yeah.
When
I went to Sedona recently, I was shocked at the amount of chemtrails that I saw just over there for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And then they've lessened there and they've lessened here. So I'm down in kind of the East Phoenix Valley, and they were spraying pretty consistently up until maybe a month or so ago, and then it just stopped. And then I've seen it maybe once or twice since then. So, you know, it's just something I notice. I don't necessarily have fear around it personally. It's just more like, what are they doing up there? You know,
Yeah.
have you asked your team directly, like, what are they doing? And have you gotten any responses?
You know, historically, they've done a lot of nefarious things, obviously. And if the public really knew, we would have had a revolution on that level decades ago. But things energetically, like the archangels can, through divine intervention, and we've been calling for it a lot lately, and we'll continue to ask for that. It's being neutralized. So it's really becoming harmless. And we need to know that none of that stuff can affect us. Now, just for practical reasons, you might want to replace your smart meter, pay a little bit of money to your power company, and go back to the analog meters, just so that you feel safer in your home or apartment or your condo. You can do that. So there's common sense things you can do to alleviate your worry. Now, we all know that fear and doubt and worry constricts your field, right?
Yep.
And your nervous system. So you go into fear. So at that point, you can't do nothing energetically of value because you are contracted. So just remember, whenever you get afraid, you are constricting.
And in that moment, do we just open back up? Like normally when I feel anything denser, I just send it lots of love, lots of gratitude, and I see my energy field expand. So I'll just send my energy field out as big as the universe, just go way out and expand my field out. And from that expanded place, the fear feels really, really tiny and minuscule. So that's one way that I work with it, but I don't know if you have any other suggestions for people to help, again, pivot out of fear, out of the 3D and help to anchor in the higher frequencies that are here.
Well, here's the lesson again, right? To notice when you've gone unconscious and lost your center and your balance and your happiness. In that moment, when you go, oh, I'm a little stressed out. And then I've got these thoughts of doubt and fear. Okay, let's stop whatever I'm doing, close my eyes and take a few deep breaths and go reconnect with that joy and that love. And boom. So you reset yourself at that point. So we have to train ourselves to be more aware of when we're not aware. And that takes a lifetime of practice until it becomes automatic. So like in these activations that we've been offering people, we're asking them now to memorize it, make it a part of you, and then create your own way of getting into this oneness field. So you lessen your codependency on other people. And then you teach it. When you master something, even if it's just a little bit, you teach it to others, you share it. This is why I tell my friends, they forget. We train them in the work through retreats. And then I ask them years later, well, have you been practicing what you were taught? Well, no. And then I go, well, why? Well, I don't know. They do know. They're just, I don't know. Right? So we say, practice, go work on your friends. That's how you're going to help them and help yourself. Practice.
Yeah.
But people are afraid. They're afraid of being judged like, oh, it's not going to work, or that's woo-woo. We have to get over that. That is so old.
Yeah.
That
Well,
is
and
so,
coming back around to what we can all do, you
yeah.
know, and supporting one another and lifting. I had a dream about a family member who wasn't a very pleasant dream. I could tell that they were struggling in the dream. And when I woke up, I made a phone call. Hey, how are you doing? You know, and they're upset and crying. And how did you know?
Mhm.
So, you know, it's like taking the nudges as they come, however they come. And if somebody's name pops into your head out of nowhere that you haven't thought of, you know, pick up the phone and see how they're doing. And, you know, I've also gotten in some arguments with family recently where I am talking about, you know, being more educated, for instance, around the media and what information you're trusting. It caused a huge argument, yelling and ending up, you know, hanging up on me. Just, you know, how dare I question the media? And so, you know, and I didn't have any big emotions around it other than like, okay, you know, if it's meant to land, that leading to water. And, you know, when people, you know, refuse to maybe crack the window in certain respects, you know, what can we do to be okay that not everybody's going to drink the water?
Yeah. You
Not
just,
saying that, you know, not saying it like, you know,
yeah.
find their own truth meaning in the drinking the water.
Yeah. You just have to let them be. And that's hard for a lot of people. Just let your family members be, let your spouse be. Again, you can lead a horse to the trough. And when they're ready and thirsty enough, they'll start drinking. At least you shown the way. It's here, it's down this road here. But you got to walk the road.
Yeah.
I can't make that decision for you. So it's letting go of the emotional attachment. It's letting go of, actually, on some levels, it's letting go of the Messiah complex. And I got to save the world kind of a thing.
Yeah. And and also I think judgment around, you know, those who aren't wanting to wake up or become conscious. You know, judging isn't going to help anything.
No.
And being able to hold compassion for everyone right now, I think is really important, and can sometimes be challenging when we get triggered into like, you know, no, can't you see this? Can't you see this? You know, why can't you see that?
Right there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's almost like, you know, time has changed. What's been your sense of time changing in the last few months? Have you noticed that time feels different? I'd love to.
Oh my God. Well, I've noticed this for a number of years. The years go by so fast. I mean, so quickly. It's like we're almost into next year at the rate we're going, right? We just did our taxes not too long ago, right? And pretty soon it's going to be Thanksgiving, and then it's going to be like a new year. It's like, wow, where did the time go? So yes, time is kind of collapsing in a way to where we don't notice it, and all of a sudden, like it's 2 months later.
Mhm.
But here's also, I just saw this. If any of you are moving in slow motion right now during this shift, there's a reason for that. And basically, it's your brain is slowing down its activity. And so it seems like you are taking forever to get something done and that you're moving in slow motion. It's not so much you're moving in slow motion, it's just the brain is shifting and calming down from its breakneck speed right before the lockdown. So people are learning, oh my God, I was so hyper before the lockdown. I realized, oh my God, I've really got to calm down and stay centered. And all that stuff that I thought that I had to do is not important right now. So we also are learning what is important for us and what's irrelevant. So a lot of irrelevancy is going away, and we need to let it go away.
Yeah. A question just popped into my head. I've talked to several people. We'll use scarcity as an example, where they are in maybe a 10 or even 15, 20-year cycle of really feeling the feels around not enoughness, you know, barely making ends meet for year after year after year. And now it's just feels 100 times heavier because this 20-year cycle of not having enough is like, okay, well, now I'm at the bottom of the barrel and there's nowhere to go from here. A lot of hopelessness,
Yes.
because the momentum has built up, and then to see it break down even further. What would you say to somebody who's kind of experiencing this compression of, you know, many years of struggling in one particular area? It could be health as well. You know, there could be other areas, but the scarcity one seems to be like a really big one right now for a lot of people.
It is. It is. And it has been. So that's the old matrix again, the old matrix of pain and suffering. So when we decide we're going to step out of that matrix for good, see, we were born into that matrix. So we had to fall asleep. We had to be veiled. We had to forget and go through all this so-called normal stuff of growing up and being educated. And then the more awake we became, we realized, wow, that was a full of whatever, right? All those years of having to go to school to learn what? Nothing really, right? So here's the thing. Here's the beautiful thing about, okay, wow, what am I going to do? It's like now you're being challenged to dig deep into your creativity and find out really what you want to do, what brings you joy. And if you go, well, nothing, you have to realize, oh, that's just a state. That's an old state. Let's move out of that. Let's move into this clear field. What do I really want to do with my life? Not so much how I'm going to pay my bills, but what do I really want to do? What is my soul calling? So a lot of people are being challenged with, okay, what is my calling? And it might not be anything you've ever done before. It might be like something that you daydreamed about when you were 5 years old, but thought, oh, I could never do that. I'd like to, but nah, I can't do that because mom and dad said, no, you can't do that, or whatever. You can do that. Plus, when we move out of the old matrix, we're moving out of our parents and their parents' attitude about money, lack of mostly, or money is evil or dirty. So we have to move out of that into an understanding that you will be taken care of. Just do your calling. Whatever it is, do it. So some of these young kids with no training are doing entrepreneurial stuff that they have never been trained in. They know how to self-train. We can still do that. We can self-train because the knowledge is in our records of whatever we want to do here. We can do it. We don't have to go back to school. We can do it.
Yeah.
You have the vision, then you call in your team. You call in your team, all right, Lord, send me the people that can help me with my vision, with my project. You got to keep doing it every day. You got to call in your team. You've got to believe you can do it. You can believe that you're not going to go by the wayside and go homeless. When I went homeless, funny thing, never thought I'd be homeless, but a few months before I actually went homeless physically, I was thinking about homelessness. And I'm thinking, where did that come from? But I didn't have a lot of money. I was staying with my parents. I wasn't happy because I wasn't fulfilling my purpose in the way that I am now. So I went homeless for 6 months. And then talk about rock bottom. That was another dark night of the soul, which a lot of people are going through now. It's a good thing, believe it or not. Although emotionally, yeah, it's horrible. It is absolutely horrible. You feel all alone and like no direction and like a lot of darkness. Like, oh, God, please help me. But you'll make it through this. It'll make you strong.
Yeah, and in the middle of it, it doesn't feel like there's a gift in it.
No.
Right? It's like usually in hindsight, this hindsight 2020, right? This, you know, usually in hindsight, then we're able to start seeing what we really gained from some of these very tumultuous experiences. And I know for me personally, I could feel the suffering of the planet at a very young age. Like I could feel this collective pain and this collective suffering and sadness. And I just wanted to make people smile. And then eventually, you know, as I got older, it was like I didn't feel like me helping the world smile was making any bit of a difference at all. And I ended up falling into depression and anxiety and poor decision making younger in life because the suffering was overwhelming. And you know, I didn't have anyone to talk to, got, you know, mentors or people who understood what I was experiencing. It was just easier to shut down than it was to say, no, I really can make a difference in alleviating the suffering of the world. But in the middle of that experience, it was awful.
Yes.
You know, because you're just feeling the separation, you're not feeling the oneness.
So the beautiful part about that is when we actually know that we are supported by the unseen power, maybe that is the ultimate test of faith, is to know no matter what I'm going through, God's got my back. And so if people have grown up with nobody to back them up, not even their spouse, not even their parents, not their kids, or their doggy, they're being challenged now. But to know they have your back, and you have to open up to that support, that you have backing. You're not going to be left alone, no matter how horrible it looks. And if you make transition, okay, so it's another life. And you look at it from above, you go, oh, wow. I was really stuck there at that point. But I know better now. I know that there's no death. So part of the unconscious healing, this is on a cellular level with our bodies. Because we were born, we were raised to believe by the churches, one life. You better make it good. Because either you're going to go to this place or that place. And if you don't confess, then you're going to go to that place. Oh, God, I don't want to go there. And if you broke any of the 10 Commandments, somewhere in your unconscious, oh, can't go to heaven because, like, I messed up there. We have to know that is not true. None of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So when we really know, when we make it through this shift, whenever it is, we're going to be so strong internally that we can go to any planet or star system in the universe that's having difficulty, and we go there as ambassadors, piece of cake. This is the extreme learning here on Earth. This is the graduate school. I've always believed this. This is the graduate school. You graduate from here, wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, you have a couple of things coming up in the next month. You're doing a talk, what did you say, June 30th? Or no, excuse me, June 20th with Kimberly Meredith, is that correct?
Kimberly Meredith, the Holy Spirit healer. She has become very popular these days. She has tons of videos on her YouTube kind of explaining the work and everything. She works very differently and uniquely. She had a near-death experience. She almost died, I believe, in a car accident, serious. And it took her a while to heal, like years. I've heard a lot of these stories of where they should have gone in a car accident. They healed up eventually, and then they started doing healing work. Actually, that's kind of common. But you can choose not to learn that way from now on. We can all choose to learn through joy rather than accidents and trauma. That's the old school again, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to do a co-collaboration with Mother Mary's healing energies. So Kimberly works in a certain way and does her scan in the audience and does the healing, and they participate. And I will do actually whatever Mary is going to bring through. We'll do a presentation, and then we'll do a transmission for everyone of the healing that comes from this beautiful being. And that is the day before Father's Day. So that could be, for those that are going to attend, kind of a beautiful Father's Day gift.
That's
In a
so
sense,
nice.
yeah.
That's
And
so
also,
nice.
I have some planetary light meditations coming up the last day of this month in May, and then a couple in June, at least a couple. And I might do an eclipse event. There's 4 more eclipses this year, but I will do at least 2 solar eclipse events. And again, to help people move through the shift, help them to clear the deep stuff that's up for review, the core issues, as we call them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of love and support will help with the planetary grid in bringing more consciousness to the grid and this vibration of truth. So we're finding that if we channel to all beings on the planet, hold the space for them to know the truth, that is the most that I personally can do.
Mm. And speaking of the grid, can you maybe share what your experience is right now of how Earth's grid has changed so far this year? And I've been seeing it kind of as this reconstruction,
Yeah.
this like renovation. And anytime anything gets renovated, the walls are going to shake, and there's going to be a mess. And once the debris gets moved out and the new kitchen is installed, so to speak, we have this bright, shiny new space. But I'd love to hear you talk about the grid just a pinch, if you don't mind.
Well, actually, I feel it's being replaced in a sense. The old grid.
Okay. Yeah.
It's being replaced. And just look at it this way. So we're moving up a couple of rungs. We're not going to the 4th dimension, because that's where everybody gets stuck. That's the collective astral plane. So we're moving from the 3rd to the 5th. That's why most teachers are saying 3rd to the 5th. They're not necessarily realizing that at the 4th dimension, we got to bypass that. They're also going to get stuck. So we bypass that into at least the 5th, if not beyond. But it's almost like that pristine grid is either superseding and replacing the old grid, or it's just going to be another opportunity, as we call it, a parallel lifetime or a parallel timeline replacement for the one that we've grown up upon. But it could be either way. It could be the reconstruction of the old grid. And you're right. It's like, okay, there's a lot of mess when you're rebuilding something, right? You got to break down the walls. You got to tear out the plumbing. You got to put in new wiring. Oh, it needs a new roof. Oh my God, all this stuff. So it gets all messy in the meantime, right? A lot of dust and debris flying around, earthquakes, volcanoes, flooding, drought, all that stuff. Oh, but here's the thing, getting back. So nature, for the first time in a long time, is being able to reset itself, right? Clean air, less pollution, less smog. You can actually see the Himalayas from India. They haven't been able to do that in like decades, right? Look at LA at one point. It was like clear.
Yeah.
You could actually see the hills.
Yeah. LA is still clear because it's still pretty, they haven't really opened much yet in California.
Yeah. So nature is able to kind of recalibrate and reset itself because of the lockdown. I think that's a beautiful thing. And also, if you notice, especially on Facebook, we were taught species don't interrelate with the other species, right?
Mm-hmm.
They stay separate. They don't like each other.
Yeah.
You are seeing cross-species communication in beautiful ways. I'll give you an example. This kitty has a mouse.
Yeah, I think I saw
In
that.
its has a mouse in its mouth, and is going over to the kitty bowl with kitty food, bringing the mouse over there to eat with the kitty.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's like I'm seeing all this kind of stuff. I'm seeing like tigers hanging out with wolves, like next to each other, like unheard of. And you see that one Facebook post of where this, I think it's a dog feeding a fish.
I haven't seen that one.
That is so cute. The big fish, like a koi fish, comes up to the edge of the pond or whatever, and this dog is leaning down and feeding the fish something. And it's like, oh, beautiful, And it's like bird. I saw this one bird. This one bird. This mammal was flying on top of a bird in flight. When was the last time you saw that?
Wow.
So it's going to show
you gotta
you that.
take me in those. Take me in those when you see it. Put my name in the comments so I can see them.
Yeah, it's like so. Nature is coming together more, and we are coming together more. So again, there's people helping people. It's a beautiful thing. So, only good can come from this lockdown. So we have to look at it that way. And if we have to wear the mask until Whole Foods says and Costco says, well, okay, we don't need it because the CDC says masks don't work anyway to protect you. Okay, so we don't have to. So we go with the flow. And, whatever does not feel right to you when you hear it, you don't buy it. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Not mine. If it feels good to you, your body, then you run with it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So main thing is keep your mind, keep your mental body clear every day so you don't get overwhelmed. Awesome. And I know some of my friends, they don't listen to any news on any level because they are so overwhelmed. They go, I'm done. Not going to watch the news, not going to listen to Intel, none of that stuff. I'm done. Yeah. So you get to a point where you just get overwhelmed. You go, okay, I'm tired of this. Okay, let's just do what I'm here to do.
And do you have time to do like a quick little like 5D attunement activation or?
Well, let me look at my quantum watch here that I don't have on, but I'm pretending I'm having a watch on my wrist here. Yeah, we got time.
Okay.
We can do a short little attunement.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're sitting, take shoes off and put your palms on your lap facing upwards. And make sure that your spine is comfortable. And we're just going to breathe into the space that you know where you want to be. So we're going to breathe in through the nose. We're going to breathe in the possibilities of happiness and joy, expanded awareness. And we're going to exhale through the mouth as much of the old energy as possible. All of the old, that's your past. That's everything that you've been stuck with or stuck upon, especially during the last, say, 4 months. Just let go of that heaviness. Breathe in the lightness of being. Take that light deep into your body, literally. Take it deep into the subatomic level of your body. Breathe it deep into the solar plexus. Breathe it deep into the protons, electrons, and neutrons. See them coming alive, sparkling. Breathe it into your DNA. to activate your innate knowledge of everything. Continue to just let go of the past, let go of the doubts and the worries, let go of your current situation. Let go of the need to feeling hopeless or scared, anxious, stressed out, worried. Just for a moment, just let go of all of that from your emotional body. Continue to breathe in the power of possibilities. Take it deep into your brain, right in the middle of your brain. Take it into your throat. Opening up your throat so that you can begin to express your truth, whatever it is. Breathe it deep into the heart. Breathe it deep into the base of your spine. Allow your body to become alive. Breathe it into your meridian system, into your glands. Now, there's a place in the brain and the heart that can activate joy. Just allow yourself to move into that space where your heart is radiating joyfulness. Your brain is very happy because it's content, because it's empty. Letting go of all energies that are not yours, that you may have accumulated in this lifetime, and especially during the lockdown. The collective energy of heaviness and constriction. Just let that go. Feel yourself lifting off the body and moving into your soul body, bringing your awareness to your soul body. Beginning to feel the power of your soul. Beginning to feel that connection with all souls. And feeling that connection with all of nature and the greater cosmos. Feeling that power of connection and oneness. And from this place, the soul perspective place, you can, shall we say, channel the light of peace, the light of truth, the light of compassion to all beings upon the planet, to all wildlife, to all of the elementals, the nature spirits, upon and within the earth, to all countries, to all peoples, to all governments. See the light moving through the grid system of the earth. See the light filling up your neighborhood, your home, the land below where you live. See the light filling up your city of residence and your state and your county. See the power of change moving upon the winds of time across the planet. And send the knowing that all are supported, that all are spiritually supported by the heart of creation. And see this energy going into the very core of the earth on all dimensional levels of planet Earth. And now coming back to your physical embodiment with a new perspective, a new slant on life. Bringing back to your physical body your next step, your creative projects, your money flow, your relationship healing, your body's ability to reset itself back to harmony and health and well-being. So bringing back to your body's consciousness, anything is possible. I am here, I am now, I am. Take a slow deep breath. Feel the power in your hands, in your feet, throughout your spine, the space above your head, the space below your tailbone. And say to yourself, I now choose to be fully awake. And I now choose to see the light within all things and all peoples, all events. So when you're ready, slowly open the eyes. Give yourself about 3 days to begin to integrate this activation. It will continue until complete. Remember to drink water. And always be grounded and focused when you drive in your car. So let's give gratitude and thanks for all assistance given today. Thank you, universe. Thank you for the changes. And so it is.
And so it is. I am.
So that was another example of a spontaneous transmission, I guess.
Yeah.
And at some point, we'll teach people how to do this, among other things.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for that. That was absolutely beautiful. And thank you for joining me today and having this discussion. I really appreciate you taking the time. And I'll make sure there's a link to the video to your website and to your upcoming talk with Kimberly. And I should be on doing my own, I'm going to be talking about New Earth this week, hopefully, with Aram on From Heartache to Joy. The dates have been kind of all over the place, so I'm just waiting to hear from confirmation. It's going to be on Thursday, so it'll either be on Thursday or it'll be another day. So whatever that ends up being, I'll make sure the link is also in this video.
Yeah, much blessings and success to you for your show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And hi to her from me.
I will. And thank you everyone for joining us today. And you know where to get in touch with both of us. We want to, just say thank you for spending part of your day with us today, and many, many blessings on this, beautiful new earth journey that we are all on together. And bye for now.